Hello and welcome to Jen and Jeff. How you doing, Jan?
Hi, Jeff. Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well. The weather's out. It's sunny. It's a sunny day in France.
Absolutely. Yeah, we finally have the little bit of spring weather here. There's no wind either.
Oh
Whew.
my God, there's no wind in the Drôme Provençale. It's much.
And it's been kind of cold, but it's really yesterday was a really nice holiday day. It wasn't for Cinco de Mayo. It was for when Jesus Christ ascended permanently. But yeah, the 5th of May in coming from California, it's Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, I didn't even know that. And actually, Cinco de Mayo is the Mexican defeat of Napoleon III, I think, or
Oh,
somebody.
is that it? I always say it's just, their Freedom Day. Okay, it had to do with another French thing.
Another French thing. Anyway, what I wanted to
Oh,
be talking about French things and the
yeah.
French thing that everybody really likes in wine. If you remember last year, there was the Open Wine University. I don't know if you remember that. It was a free online course. Well, it is back
Oh,
this
yeah, you did tell me about that. Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I dropped out. I have to say, I dropped out of Open Wine University. Can you even do that? I don't know. But anyway, I didn't have enough time to finish it. I did a couple of lessons, but it starts on May 19th. It's free. You do have to
Okay,
register. It's in English, but it's subtitled English. They have videos and stuff, and I'm not too sure if it's going to be. They probably updated it a little bit.
right,
I'll put the link in, but it's free, and you can do it as you like.
right, right. Yeah. Oh,
Why
that
not?
would be interesting. Yeah, I might try and tune in just to get an idea of what it is. Yeah, for people in the States, it's probably, it's much easier. Talking of the University of Wines, we have one very close to here, and it's in the Chateau of Suze-la-Rousse.
Okay.
And it's
You
a little
probably talked about that too. I remember we talked
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
and they have an actual University of Wine, and I don't have any details on it, but I've met a few people that have attended conferences, or, I don't know if it's a real school, but they, it's a University of Wine in Suze. I'm sure they've got online information if anybody
Information,
wanted
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
that one for free sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I did it last time, and there are videos, and you have assignments, as it were. You have
Right.
things to do. I mean, there's no.
To go drink wine.
You got to drink wine,
Yeah.
obviously. But they asked you to write stuff, and you had to make
Okay.
of your tongue, your palate.
Right.
You had to make a thing
Right.
of your palate.
Oh, right. That's right. I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
coming
it's
back
kind
to
of funny.
pilot.
It's kind
Yeah,
of interesting because the guy's talking about it, swirling the wine, and how you drink it. And
right,
you're supposed to swirl it a little bit, let it
right,
express itself, and then you taste it, and then you
right,
smell it, and then you do it again. Anyway, it's
right. Yeah, yeah.
it's kind
Okay,
of
so the new one starts May 19th. Okay, well, that is good to know. Yeah, and there are people probably in the States that want to know about it. But I had some Americans yesterday coming through for lunch, and we talked about a bit of wine because they're from California too. And I brought up the La Vieille Femme,
oh yeah,
which,
you talked about that, yeah.
which is right down here in Orange, and you can buy it at Ralph's. It's easier. It's easier and cheaper to buy in the States at Ralph's than it is here in the south of France, and it's made, not even an hour from here.
Wow.
But I can't buy it. They have to ship it to me. And you know what? Well, I think I told you this. I ordered a box of wine from a village not too far from here. They
Uh-huh.
shipped it. It went to Paris, Federal Express, and then from Paris it came back down to me.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good thing I didn't pay for the shipping, but anyway, that's a good wine, and these people were really happy to know about being able to buy it at Ralph's in California. But he also told me that the French wine here, and I don't know if this is true or not. You'd have to talk to a specialist. They add sulfates to the wine here that they ship to the United States. Now, I
It's
don't know if that's
possible.
true or not.
It's possible
They
that
have, yeah, they by FDA regulations are, I'm not in that business, so I don't really know, but that's what he told me, and it could be true. Some of the wines in California have a lot more sulfates than maybe they do here, but the wines here have some sulfates.
Yeah, some sulfates too.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, but so, and I also, it's interesting with these Americans that came through yesterday. We talked a lot about tradition because they had read these books before they came. 60 Million Frenchmen Can't Be Wrong. And there was another one they read, I can't remember. And she was saying, oh, and I learned that if you take a bouquet, don't take wine when you are invited to a meal at French people's house, because they've already selected the wines. And if you bring something, then they feel like they need to serve it. And I said, that's,
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Ridiculous.
And she read that in 66 Million Frenchmen. And, fair enough. These people come, they lived here for 2 years. They came from Canada and they wrote the book for Americans. They lived here for 2 years. They think they know how it works, and then they leave.
But, they leave. They have it all figured out.
They don't even live here anymore. So, traditions have changed. We kind of started a tradition, wine for a meal or for any occasion. We always now write their names on the bottle. And when we decide to bring it out, we'll go, oh, okay, Tim and Morley gave us this. And we'll sit there and we take a picture of ourselves drinking it. We send it via Facebook. And so, that's not true at all, that the French are offended if you bring wine for a meal. If you don't serve it, it's not offensive.
Not offensive. And I have a lot of wine that is sitting that people have brought. And I don't think they, that they want you to drink it, right? And that doesn't make any sense.
I've been here a while, and I've never even heard that. And then she told me, she said, oh, and if you take a bouquet of flowers, make sure that it's already arranged, because if you just buy, individual flowers and you take it and it's not quite arranged yet, that's really bothersome to the French. I'm like, what? I wouldn't even have thought of that. I mean, if you're going to buy a bouquet, just take them flowers and they'll figure it out. The French aren't that anal. In fact, it almost sounds like the people that wrote that are a bit anal. But anyway.
So we have open wine, and we have taking wine and flowers. But when I went
flowers and chocolate, I don't recall any French person being, making any. I just don't even. Most people rise to the occasion and are quite pleased if you bring them anything.
Exactly. But what I wanted to also talk about was television. I saw your area of France on television the other night.
Oh, right. On Racine and
Yes, they had Roots and Wings.
Roots and Wings.
Exactly, Roots and Wings. And they had the Chateau de Montélimar, which I didn't know that the village or the town surrounded by the chateau.
Right.
And then they had Grignon, which you're very close to, as I remember.
Absolutely.
And they had a history of it, and it was actually a woman before World War I actually bought the chateau when it was almost a ruin. It wasn't quite a ruin, and she's the one who brought it back up so that it's what it is today.
Right.
It was a woman, I can't remember her name, but she saved it before World War I. It's pretty amazing.
Right. The Chateau de Grignon was privately owned. It's not now. But and there's a great history of the Chateau de Grignon, which is, I don't know, about a 20-minute drive from here. And when we lived with when I was running the B&B, it was right. In fact, you probably went and saw it when you came down one of those.
When we came down, we visited. Yeah, absolutely, we visited.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. It's a really neat chateau, and it's a cute little village around it. But the history is Madame Sévigné, who was quite in the bourgeois population in Paris. In fact, her daughter was married to one of the kings, and I'd have to go back and read the dates but there was she used to write letters. She used to come down here and write letters from the chateau, and she just really loved staying here, Madame Sévigné. And there's a statue of her in a fountain at the town. But you have 3 chateaus. Actually, there's 4. There's one in Montélimar. There's one in Suze-la-Rousse where you have the or the University of Wine, and then there's one in Rochegude, or one in Saint-Paul-Trois-Châteaux, and exactly, it's called Saint-Paul-Trois-Châteaux because it's the three castles that make kind of a circle. Yeah. So, but the chateau in Montélimar is pretty much, you can visit it, but there's no rooms left. There's no furniture.
Right, that's what I got the feeling of. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of a ruin. But I've noticed that we've been a couple times on Les Racines and the Drôme, Provençale, and it's just a really pretty area because we've got, the Alps for skiing and
yeah, it's a really it is.
Yeah, it was a very, I'm quite attached to the area down here. I really like it. Yeah.
And there was another chateau that was actually a village on a hill, and the chateau was there, and they abandoned, in the turn of the 19th century, they abandoned this village, and everybody went down the hill because I guess it wasn't very good to live on top of a hill. And the people are trying to not restore it, but they're trying so that it doesn't get any more into ruins. And it was very interesting. This village, and it's totally abandoned village now, and you can see parts of it have fallen down because we're talking over 100 years. The last person left.
Right. What was it? Was it in Allons?
It might have been. I couldn't remember, but there were people, and the woman was saying, that my ancestor, my great whatever lived here. This is where they lived, and there were the streets and stuff. And it's very interesting. It was very nice. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch a lot of it. It's very interesting.
We do have Allons, a town called Allons, not too far, where there's nothing up at the chateau or the village.
It could be it. Yeah, there's and then. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, it was an interesting show, and I said, oh yeah, there it is. That's where Jan lives.
Yeah. Well, you've been down here before.
I've been down here before, but it's always nice. And anyway, if anybody wants to discover France, even if you don't understand the language, you'll see they always show these panoramics, and they're talking and they're doing this.
Right. What's nice about Racine and Elle, which you probably thought, oh, that's where she lives, is because they give you aerial views.
They give you aerial views. In this aerial views,
that's it.
And they had people. They had something. They were using an ultralight to look in the Drôme River too. There was some part of the Drôme River, and they were flying over, and this ultralight. These two, I guess they were scientists, and they were filming. And then they have drones. Sometimes they have helicopters now. It's really interesting. It's always
right. Go ahead.
And they also are outside of, sometimes not always in France. They were in Rome a couple of weeks ago. They were in Rome.
Okay.
They kind of, and it's cultural, and they always have people who are fixing stuff up, and the history, and they have, it's just stuff that's really, I don't watch it all the time, but it's very interesting.
Right. Yeah, I don't catch it all the time either, but that might be a nice link that you could put on your website or on the Facebook page, because they do have such beautiful aerial views, and they do cover a lot of areas of France, and most people in the States could probably get glimpses of it on YouTube.
Yeah, and I think YouTube, there's France 5, I think, is the international.
Oh, right. France 5, yeah.
I'm sure, because it really promotes tourism, too. It's really.
Yeah, TV Monde 5, it's TV Monde 5. But, and just to finish with Racine and Elle, actually, a couple weeks ago, they had one that was covering Avignon, a bit further south of here.
Yeah, that would have been something.
And they were in this little helicopter. Well, a friend of my husband's, who actually works with my husband, him and his friend invented they're little tiny helicopters, and you're actually not closed in like a helicopter. Anyway, they invented them, and Racine and Elle contacted him to do the aerial thing, because you can fly so much lower than a helicopter.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll try and get a picture from Ben, and because Racine and Elle contacted him, and he had to do the flying, and so it was kind of fun. But anyway, so I guess we next week I was going to say I wanted to talk more about tradition, but we'll do that another time. There's always time.
There's always more time. All right, Jan.
Absolutely. Have a great week, Jeff.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.